You're now listening to the Palmetto Dugout Show, hosted by State Director Sammy Esposito, Associate Scouts Drew Stewart and Sean Smith, that discuss all things related to amateur baseball in South Carolina. Here are your hosts.
Welcome in to episode 76 of the Palmetto Dugout Show. Coach Espo, he's really excited. The Wolfies won the ACC tournament, and as he's got his beads on, I'm surprised they don't have a Wolfie attached to it. And it is beautiful St. Patrick's Day. Coach, what's up?
Coach, happy St. Patty's Day to you and everybody out there. Hopefully, a lot of people recovered from some possible long days yesterday. You know, mine was spent with a T-ball game in the morning, and then another T-ball game this afternoon. So, you know, a lot of T-ball action going on. You know, but yeah, a big weekend around the state. I know Columbia here does a big time parade, does a big time deal down to 5 Points, and I think this is our first time maybe missing the parade here in Columbia. Or let me rephrase that. Some resemblance of my family. For the first 10 years when I lived here, I never went to that parade. But now that we're back, we used to attend. But now, you know, T-ball takes over.
Some of us on St. Patrick's Day did attend baseball too, like you, but it was not T-ball. And would have loved to walk across the street and had some fun with some other human beings. But we had to watch baseball. We had to give the people what they want, not give Stewie what he wanted. Look, we're missing Austin again. He's on hole 16. He's 18 over.
That's what I was going to say. How many shots do you think he's in? And not in like the tee shot, the golf shots. How many shots in do you think he's in right now? Like, are we at like a plus 20? Or are we at?
I think the over-under is at 20.5, and I'm going over.
You think we've already broke that already?
I don't know. He might be under since he's just coming off of a great vacation. He might be playing with Rafiki right now. Who knows?
You know, our vacation director's back at it again. So he's continuing to live large, live life to the highest. So he good for him. You know,
hopefully we'll see him eventually.
The rumors on the street is he's making a comeback for Prep Baseball South Carolina tomorrow night. We'll maybe save that. I don't know. We'll see if the return.
We'll see if the actual picture goes out Monday night on the Twitter page. Never know. So obviously, let's hop in here. We've already had our first Players of the Week, Coach, and we'll get into what that looks like here in the future. But first one, Aiden Clay, pitcher of the week from Pendleton High School, 7 innings pitched, no hits, 12 Ks. Is that good?
I think usually when you give up no hits, that's called a no hitter. And he did over 7 innings, right? You know, you see sometimes people get a no hitter and it's in a limited, a 5 inning game or something, or, you know, it's not a full complete game or a 9 inning, 7 inning game, whatever it is. But he did in a full game. Gave up no runs. You know, we'll see a lot of times people give up runs still, and only one walk. We said there, and it was lights out. And Aiden, you know, we've got a chance to see Aiden over the past couple of years. He's come to a handful of events and keeps getting better and better, and kind of zoning in on what he kind of is. I know he's also an infielder, and he hit a big home run last week as well. And you know, sky's the limit for him, but he had big time performance. I'll tell you what, that. Heck, both of these that we had to pick were very difficult. But the pitcher of the week, I think, was even more difficult because we had multiple no-hitters last week. And, I mean, I think the ultimate reason we wound up going with Aiden was he had a few less base runners on base over that time frame for his, a little less traffic for his game. So, you know, he walked less guys than the other guy or two that threw the no hitters as well. So big time shout out to Aiden for a big time performance, and I have a feeling we'll see his name come across the screen a few more times throughout this year.
Maybe we'll see him this week. Who knows? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. In which capacity we see them may be different. Hitter of the week, Alex Lacoste, coach, has been tearing it up at Hillcrest. Committed to the Cougs at the college, 5.45 average, 2 home runs, 1 a walk-off. It was a run rule, I believe, but 9 RBIs. We've seen this kid previously. The juice is there, and obviously it showed last week.
Again, is that good? Those kind of numbers you threw out right there. Yeah, this is obviously a young man who I know, Coach Holbrook and staff down there are fired up to get next year. And, he's obviously off to a hot start, but he's a guy that we've been getting phone calls from some MLB scouts going, hey, is this a guy we need to go see? Is this guy we need to go see? Obviously, you kind of put up numbers like that to start. You got the frame, the physicality he has, and you play a premium position he does. It's going to be someone that's drawn a lot of interest out there for those guys. But, eliminating all that stuff will kind of shake out on its own. But obviously a big-time week from a big-time player. And, kind of looking back last year, I was kind of going through some of these. His name was sprinkled a lot of across some of these, and it was also sprinkled across a lot of our diamond notes as well last year. So he's a performer. Not only start this year off, but he's a constant performer throughout his high school career so far. So we expect big things from him moving forward as well.
So now, players of the week coming up, Coach. We had these stats submitted and we kind of picked these. So what are we doing now?
Coach, we're going to shake it up a little bit. We're going to shake this thing up. We're going to let the people. We're going to let the people make some calls. So, right, obviously the coaches are submitting, right? We had a big-time shout out, first of all, big-time shout out to all the coaches last week that went ahead and submitted all their players of the week. I know, we talked about it last week. Takes a lot of time out of their busy days. And again, a little reminder on that before we get into tomorrow at noon. Let's get this thing in. We've already got some big-time performers already put in there, but let's get some more out there. But once we get all these in tomorrow at noon, we're going to get a poll out there on the Twitter world, and we're going to let the people vote. We're not going to say a name. We're going to throw the stats up there on the line on Twitter, and we're going to let the people vote for who is the player of the week. So basically, we'll list it. We'll go player A and list their stats out for the week. Player B, list their stats out for the week. Player C, I don't know. We'll decide. Each week might be different. 2 or 3 guys. It'll kind of depend on who would kind of be in that running, kind of what we kind of usually break down of who we think is into that mix. So it's going to be 2 or 3 guys each week. So we'll have 2 or 3 pitchers of the week, 2 or 3 position players of the week that we're going to let the people vote for and go in there. And we'll also do this. We're going to have our vote go in there as well. So we might be the tiebreaker on that one. We'll throw the vote in there myself. Drew will go in there and get a vote on there as well because we look at these numbers and we've been picking them. So now we're going to let the people. We're going to get the people what they want. We're going to let them make a call on this one. So we'll let our fans. We'll let the people of South Carolina kind of let them pick and choose the players of the week. And we know everybody loves a good old poll, so we'll let them interact and play along with this thing.
Well, the people on Instagram called it that Crescent would sweep Seneca in the series of the week. And I mean, usually what the people vote for is what happens.
You got to give people what they want. You know what I mean?
Right. We're not doing bomb squad votes. We can't because I don't know. That's just too much ahead there. But we do have a PBSC bomb squad of the week. Alex Kennery, coach, Blue Ridge, bottom of the 7th. A 3-run walk-off homer against a really good Raven County team out of Georgia to win the game, and big game for Blue Ridge. That's got to be the bomb squad of the week.
Coach, anytime you hit a walk-off tank, that kind of elevates it up a little bit more, right? I mean, tanks are, bomb squads are always impressive, right? I don't care if it's the first inning, whatever inning it is, but when you go walk-off, and then you go ahead and you stuff it up another state, that makes it even
that's
better.
right. That just
you got to let people know what little old South Carolina's about. So that kind of jumped it up a little bit more. So we're fired up to get him out there to let him beat up on the team from Georgia and show that one out there. But I will, kind of on top of that, kind of big time shout out to all the players that have been tagging us this past week. Kind of we saw a big time influx in that this last week of the hashtag. So keep tagging us with those. We do our best to get that thing out there and quote tweet it and get it back out there. Sometimes some of you guys, put it out there at like 1 a.m. and we're asleep by then. So
some of us.
we'll see it. If we don't see it the next morning, we do our best to see that thing. But keep tagging us and keep putting us on there.
Coach Matt Murray said, "What's up?" So you can tell Matt Murray what's up. Since we're live here, now weekend review, Coach. We had said, we had tweeted out we were going to see 7 games. We actually saw 8 games in the state of South Carolina. Shout out to Coach Brittle. I think he had the game of the week.
I mean, but game of the week, high profile, walk-offs, big-time arms, big-time prospects. I mean, you name it kind of had it. I guess the only thing you're lacking was an offensive display. But with those arms on the mound that day, you're really not going to have many big-time offensive performances. But right, what was it? The first pitch of the game coming out of the gate from Cole Greer. Obviously, a very talented arm, and the first pitch he sees is Morlando gets a double down the line. So right off the bat, we're starting off hot going in there, and Greer's up to 92. I want to go ahead and throw a personal apology for Mr. Greer here. I left him off the heat sheet graphic last week, so if Mr. Cole Greer's on here, I left him off, but we'll get you back on there this week. So I know he was a little upset, but we'll fix it for him. But yeah, big time performance by Coach Brittle in his first time out covering a game for Prep Baseball South Carolina, and stuck it out and saw a great game with a walk-off at the end.
Blake had a football game on. we were an extra point away from going in overtime there. And then, Coach, we made a venture down to Lancaster County to get to see Beaufort to Louisville, 2 teams we don't get to see very often. Coach, you had 2 games staying in the home city there.
Yeah, shout out to Gray on Gray Collegiate on Monday night. Big time shout out to Coach Assey and Gray Collegiate for their new facility out there. Kind of whole renovation down there. They had been playing, in a city park in the past, and they got a whole new facility that's still, work in progress. But they got a beautiful facility down there, and got to see a barn burner of a game with them and Irmo that went 750 innings. I think it wound up going 11 that night, and they wound up winning in a walk-off fashion. But a big-time game for those guys. And then AC Floor and Dutch Fork on Wednesday night. Got to see some very, very talented youngsters for both teams. Between AC Floor with, talking with Coach Hallett before the game, this is the youngest team he's ever put on the field in his 28 years of coaching. I mean, he had
time.
I think he had 3 or 4 freshmen playing on the infield, counting as catchers, and the other 2 were sophomores, and and he had 2 seniors in the outfield and a sophomore. So, and then, Dutch Fork, obviously, got Phipps on the mound, but he wasn't throwing that night. But they got superstars sophomore at shortstop. They got some younger guys. They got a couple older guys sprinkled in. So, it's one of those years. I was talking with somebody yesterday. A lot of very talented but young guys playing a lot of positions out there in high school baseball. So, got a chance to take a look at those guys this past week. So it's fun to watch those young guys running around.
Coach, I got to see. It all started Tuesday, right? Tuesday night. Coach, we're rocketing up the heat sheet. Landon Fowler, yet again, making it look easy. 94 in the first inning. Now, both of his high-velocity pitches were against the same batter. That batter was Miles Barbary at Fountain Inn. And I think those two have a close relationship. 94 in the first, got a K. Miles came up 4th inning, Coach. And I saw the first 2 fastballs. I'm like, that's a little harder than what he was throwing at 90. So put the gun up there, threw a slider. Next pitch to a fastball, 95 for the K. No chance at touching it. So now he's in second place on the beautiful heat sheet. A future gamer we did not miss on, Coach.
Not one bit. He might be in that future game for MLB here, the All-Star Weekend here in a few years. God almighty. Every time he throws, he keeps throwing harder and harder and harder. That's a special one. What was it? We saw him this past summer, right? Obviously, we've seen him a lot, but we saw him at the Southern Athletic Scout Day, right? It was like he was just he's still doing the catching thing a little bit, but he was kind of converting, right? Really just pitching about a little over a year. Hey, I think I'm gonna try this pitching thing out. And we're like, hey, we'd love to have you come down as a future game as a PO. And he was all in, right? He was still playing football. And he comes down that first day and he stuffs Team California. And it's like, and they got the dude, they got the 6'5" guy on the mound throwing like 88, 90, 92. I think he wound up committing to like UCLA. And like, there's Fowler over there, 88, 91, singing that thing in there, cutting him up, and back off to football practice he goes. So, and every time we see him now. So I guess this next time we see him, he's going to have to throw like 98.
We don't know. I'm not.
No.
If I go back, the jokes will keep coming. This time it won't be Jacob McGovern. It'll be Landon Fowler. we may already be there.
We're past that. Don't worry about it. You've lost that part.
Well, it'll be okay. Coach, I'm going to stay with another arm here. You've seen this one. Left-hander, Jack Stepp. Saw him on Saturday. He was velocity-wise down when we had him at PSA North. Got to see him against Greer for the 5 innings. I saw him 9 Ks, untouchable. I think he had like 2 or 3 hits that he scattered up to 84, but pounding the zone like we've always seen him, even when we took him to junior futures.
Yeah, Jack's, I think probably a little bit of the unfair one where we've seen him for so long now and he's still so young, right? Yeah. Like he's still just a sophomore in high school. And he's been playing varsity for like 10 years, it seems like, and we got a chance to watch him, took him down to the junior futures and he competed against a great, it was the Team Ohio game.
Yes.
And and he had really good stuff. It was 80-83, especially for a young guy right there. But it's the one thing, and right, we go, the velocity, whatever. The velocity is going to come. It's, the beginning of the year still, probably, a second or third outing of the year. And we saw him at PSA North. It was still January, so you always know there's a little bit of stuff down there. But the one thing he's always done is competed, right? He's athletic. He competes. He's got the breaking ball. And people have a hard time hitting him, for whatever reason it is, right? Whether it's the something on his fastball, the breaking ball, the changeup, whatever it is. A lot of it's the 3-pitch mix and the competitiveness in them. It's a little bit, right, like the right-handed version of Cole Greer. When we used to watch Cole Greer pitch when he was younger, right? And then obviously the big velocity jump kept coming. It's good off-speed pitch that nobody hits. So Jack's always a fun one and a good one to keep watching. But that competitive spirit in there in nature is always going to give him a chance to win and keep people, and give his team a chance to win.
Coach, I think it's something about the future gamers that we have. That was the first team SC, Coach. That set the stage for the Final Four team in little old South Carolina. And not to miss this guy with Cole Bellinger on the other side was up to 88 as well. He pitched at 7 innings, complete game shutout.
Coach, Cole Bellinger is another one. He always does well. He always performs well, right? And the velocity creases keep coming up. We've seen it in a bunch of scout days. We've seen him in tournaments. We've seen him in high school games. Again, this is another guy that's kind of converting into that. You never want to say a PO converting into it, but right, he does multiple things, multiple positions, bouncing over here, hitting, doing this. The athleticism always plays. So he's another athletic kid with good arm strength that the more he learns how to become that pitcher like he's becoming, he's a hard one to hit, hard one to score runs off. And obviously, like you saw, very difficult to score runs that day.
It was a great game. The bats were a little, you'll see in the Scout blog, have a subscription. Like Austin says, make sure you got one of those.
Coach, I just got a text question, by the way. So
okay, what we got?
We got a text question. Matt Payne, former PB,
North
Carolina, Mr. Detroit Tigers scout. So we got to throw him a shout out now. His question right here. So I know he's listening. Give me your prediction on who wins the Somerville game tomorrow and how many innings Messina gets through.
Who are we playing? Who's Somerville playing here?
Pulled them up right here. Somerville, Hanahan coach.
Oh,
Hanahan.
what a game. Messina's going to pitch. You would think that Hanahan is going to counter with Dodderwick. The score.
I go Messina. I'm trying to look at their schedule.
I'm a big Hawk fan.
I am too. I'm just going to go for the sake of everything. I'm just going regardless of nothing. It doesn't matter. It could be 0-0. Messina's going 4. Going to go 4 innings.
I was going to say
he's going to
5.
punch out like 12. So pitch count is going to come up because he's going to strike people out.
I was going to say I like that 4 or 5 mark, but I think Hanahan wins the ball game.
Whoa. You know what?
I'm on the Hawk train. Still haven't got my gear, by the way, but I'm on the Hawk train.
You know, I'm going Hanahan as well. You know what I mean? Hanahan 2-1. 2-1. Messina 4 innings, 12 Ks, 1 walk.
Oh no. We'll get to that comment in a minute. Someone commented, do you think James Allen could take it all this season, Coach? That's the question.
Yeah, do I?
Yeah, that's the question. And then we hadn't got to the other. I'm thinking we'll skip over the next one.
Yeah.
Coach.
I do think so.
No, I don't think so because they gave Austin a short sleeve hoodie and we haven't gotten a hat yet.
I'm still angry about that, but I mean, Austin pops in for like a day and gets geared out.
Yeah, that's him and Rafiki. We just got way off here on the live. We got one comment that needs to get on out of here. Anyway, Coach, I'm gonna stick back to a kid here since the comments have kind of gone a little far. Austin Catledge, Buford, going to Buford here. 3 hits on the day. He is a 2026. This is when you find those gems. What do you say? I don't know. Hidden gems. There you go. Diamond in the rough. You could say that too. Coach, 3 hits on the day. I think he had 2 doubles against a pretty good arm in Deion Brown. And big, tall kid. Kind of stiff, but as he matures, I think the athleticism will be there. Also caught 205 pop time, 2026 catcher. Was impressed by him in that game early. And Buford is 7-1. Don't look now.
Watch out now.
Thanks. They got a big match over there.
Hey, and guess what's coming out next week?
We ain't got to that. Hush. Hey, we do not do a team of the week, but I feel like there should be a shout out in here somewhere. How about the Crescent Tigers? They sweep Seneca and then beat TL Hanna. 3-0 on the week. 3 huge wins. Huge.
Huge. I think we had didn't we on our poll somebody said that was going to happen?
The poll was that Crescent was going to sweep Seneca. But we didn't do a poll on Hanna, and Hanna's a very talented team, and Crescent just got 3 big wins.
Watch out now. They just keep on keeping on.
Coach, they're 8-1.
Some people, in the great words of some people just built different. You know what I mean?
They built different in Iva.
They built different.
That's it. What's in the water in Iva? Now we got a series of the week here coming up. North Myrtle, West Florence, 2-game series. Coach, what's the big headlines of this series?
Coach, power arms going day one for these guys. We got Peyton Rogers for West Florence going against Luke Rope for North Myrtle. So I have a feeling PB South Carolina is going to be floating around in attendance maybe for that game.
Maybe.
Big time. Maybe. We'll see. It's always a maybe.
You never know.
But yeah, you never know what's going on these days. But obviously, two very talented teams. North Myrtle coming up here to West Florence to battle them out early on. Two teams that are kind of in that mix of, obviously North Myrtle was in there to compete for the state championship last year. West Florence got a team this year they feel can compete with those guys and give them a run for their money. And here we go early on in the season. We're going to get a crack at it and see what shakes out. But outside of the big time arms up front, they both got enough depth and they both got enough offense to do some damage.
Coach, so series of the week here. We'll get the vote out here right after this podcast ends. Well, I can't ask you. You're going to the game. Who wins the series?
Can I tell you after I go?
Oh, okay, yeah, you can. My pick's the Chiefs. I think I've been rocking with the Chiefs for a while now. I think I picked them to win the 4A state championship, which may be surprising now that you go back and look at the team at the top of the Power 25. But the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs.
Should be a good one. You know what? I'm glad.
Big arm, so Peyton Rogers, you never know.
Let's knock on wood and hope all lines up in the Esposito household, and I'll be gearing up and barreling down to Florence to check this thing out.
Hey, we got Austin maybe out tomorrow. Blake will be out this week. Blake will have a game on Tuesday night. I'll have a game Friday night. Can't tell you where yet. We don't want anybody to show up where we are. We don't want to give them a head start. Secrets. We got to keep them secret. Coach, episode 77, the big one. It'll be 2 weeks. The updated Power 25. I think some changes are coming.
Oh, they're coming, all right. Right. It's now enough, right? There's been enough people playing enough games now, right? Regions in full effect in a lot of these places. At first when we do the first update, everybody at least had played a few games. Yes. So you kind of give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt. You never know what's going on out there, this and that. Now everybody's 7, 8 plus games deep. Now they're going to be 10, 12 plus games deep. You kind of are who you are rolling into this part, and I know some of these teams are going to get into region, and their regions are a little lesser than maybe some of their non-region games have been. But there are going to be some big time changes going on up there all across the board.
We might fire some people up, be on some bulletin boards here very early. What a show for Austin maybe to join us back on. I'm sure he might end up
2 hours. Block off 2 hours if he gets on it.
Yeah, 7 to 10 probably. He'll talk a while. And we'll switch it back to basketball here, Coach. Does the Wolfies make it to the Sweet 16?
No chance. The Wolfies have
maxed out.
Obviously, I am a Wolfpacker through and through. But you're also a realist. I 5 wins in 5 days. You almost kind of wish that's one of those things. You almost wish the NCAA tournament started today. Yes, so they can kind of keep that thing going. Now they go home, get a couple days to regroup, get the feedback underneath them, get back out, and they'll go play probably like they've played before. Get that 10 seed and roll in there. But I mean, obviously they've shown. I mean, heck, they beat. Let's think about it. They just whipped up on the Tar Heels, whipped up on the Dukies, whipped up on the Wahoos. I don't even know who else is out there. But I mean, like, I don't care what team or what league you're in. That's very difficult to do. So it was big time.
5 games in 5 days.
5 games in 5 days. That's impressive.
I don't think I could do 2 and 2.
But we know that.
Thanks, Coach.
Tigers. Where are the Tigers off to?
Oh,
by the way, real quick.
Okay, they play Friday against New Mexico State. They got the 6th seed. They play the winner of Colgate and Baylor. Already calling it. They're I think they go out to Memphis. So they're going to Graceland for a couple of days. Who knows? The Tigers will probably lose, and we just leave it there. But the state of South Carolina baseball, coach, college baseball, some schools with some big wins. The college
taking it to the Terriers this weekend. 2 out of 3
series win.
Series win.
The Tigers going on the road, series win. Did Coastal win today?
Coastal did a big time walk off. They were down 3. I think they were down 2 or 3 in the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs. And somehow Coastal does what Coastal does and wins. And
Winthrop took the series too, I think.
Throp took the series. The Chickens got on the win
I was about
column
to say, are the Chickens
today.
They got on the win column. Or they
got on the win column today. Them and Wofford went down. Speaking of Matt Payne, I texted him yesterday. I think he'll never be allowed to watch North Greenville play baseball again. He went to go watch them yesterday, and they lost their first series. So he's banned from North Greenville.
Gosh,
so he's
man.
out. I guess there's no player who's going to be a Tiger from up there this year. But we'll boot him.
They're in Tigerville. They're just not going to be a Tiger.
He can go back to North Carolina. When it's all said and done. Yeah, I mean, hey, right? Everybody in, Clemson, all ACC teams have started up in ACC play. SEC was obviously opening weekend and across the board in ACC or in SEC. So it's, I know some of the other leagues are, some in the Big South have started, some hasn't. PC hasn't started yet. They're going to start up next weekend. But upstate, big sweep for those guys. They just keep on keeping on. I think they won it's like 20-2 or something today. So they just keep doing their thing. So it's baseball's in full bore across the state, and outside of a couple here or there, it seems like almost every single team in this state, whether it's Division 1, 2, or junior college, just find a way to win and come out in the right end. So I think the state's doing pretty good and in good hands.
Little old South Carolina.
Little old South Carolina. We ain't got no players around here, but we just win.
We just win. We just take it from everybody else and win. So that's going to wrap us up.
Except Mississippi State had a huge win. And that David Mershon kid, South Carolina.
Is he good?
I think he's pretty good. He had some huge hits for those guys down there in Stark Vegas. So he getting that train rolling down there for them boys.
Watch out. They coach. Well, their head coach is.
What are you going to do?
South Carolina. Well, we're going to wrap this up before we get off tangent here. So for episode 76, all of us here at Prep Baseball South Carolina, we hope you have a great week.